In NIKKE, one of the absolute best ways to get extra power on your units is through the commander dolls. And some NIKKE's dolls can even be further enhanced to favorite items, which completely alters their kits and usually transforms them into some of the absolute best units that the game has to offer you. But the amount of maintenance kits required to upgrade these dolls can number into the hundreds and thousands for each unit, and the sources for these maintenance kits are very scarce. But today I'm going to introduce you to a game mode that will give you a massive injection of maintenance kits to help you catch up on some of those favorite items and also improve the strength of your NIKKEs. So of course, the game mode that I am talking about is Solo Raid Museum. And despite the name, this isn't just a place to show off all of the high scores from previous solo raids. Currently, there are 2 wings of the Solo Raid Museum with 3 bosses each, for a total of 6 bosses. Coming later in July, we're going to have a 3rd wing with 3 more bosses to tackle. So what exactly is the Solo Raid Museum? The Solo Raid Museum lets you re-challenge old Solo Raid seasons and challenges you to beat the previous high scores from when these solo raids were live. This may seem like a daunting task at first, but the reality is that there's been so much power creep in the NIKKEs that we have available that beating even the top score is usually a pretty easy task. So what do you get for beating these top scores? Well, for each boss in each wing, you are going to be given maintenance kits, replica frames, and favorite item maintenance kits for reaching certain damage milestones, all the way up to the historical rank 1 damage. In Wing 1, the bosses are going to give you favorite item selection kits for NIKKEs from Season 1 and 2. So this includes Diesel, Frima, Exia, Laplace, and Viper. The bosses in Wing 2 are going to give you favorite item maintenance kits for Season 3 NIKKEs. These include Miranda, Helm, Drake, and Milk. And like I mentioned before, these are selection kits, so you can use all of them on whoever you want. It's not random like you would experience when getting favorite item maintenance kits from Solo Raid, for instance. So if you've been hearing a lot of good things about Treasure Helm and you've been wanting to use her for a while, you can go into Solo Raid Museum Wing 2 and get all of the favorite item maintenance kits you need for Helm after completing a few of these challenges. Once you complete the challenge mode version of any given boss, you will unlock something that is known as No Limit Mode. No Limit Mode is meant to be a very end game mode meant to challenge people with very optimized compositions that have been playing for years. Whereas Solo Raid and Union Raid and the challenge mode of Solo Raid Museum all put everyone on a level playing field by putting us to level 400. No Limit Mode is going to take into account your synchro level, so these are balanced around people with very high synchro levels. So don't be surprised if you easily overcome the challenge mode, but you can't even make it to the first threshold in No Limit Mode. Each boss offers a buff to a specific type of damage that is always going to be active. So for example, when attempting Mother Whale, your team will always have a 15% increased distributed damage buff. No Limit Mode also offers some weekly buffs to different damage types against specific bosses. At the time of this recording, you can get extra distributed damage against Mother Whale, and you can also see future week's buffs against which bosses. So if you do want to challenge the No Limit Mode, it's best to do it when you have these damage buffs available to you. And being able to see which buffs will be active when will give you some extra time to plan ahead. Now, I debated whether or not to show team compositions for every single boss, but putting together 5 team comps for 6 different bosses is a pretty big ask for a single video. So I'm just going to briefly explain each boss fight in the Solo Raid Museum and show you the team compositions that I used. The first boss in Wing 1 is Mother Whale. Mother Whale is a water code, which means that electric code NIKKEs are going to have an elemental advantage towards it. And the main thing to know about Mother Whale is that you need to destroy its core as soon as possible. Mother Whale has an ability that she can only use while her core is active, and it's going to buff all of the adds that she summons throughout the fight. And these aren't your run-of-the-mill cannon fodder adds, so if you don't destroy the core, you can easily get overwhelmed by the amount of ads that she summons. But aside from that, you just need to keep the ads under control and destroy the parts as they respawn. I was actually able to crush the highest score threshold with a single team for Mother Whale. I used Crown, Maid Mast, Snow White Heavy Arms, Rouge, and Cinderella. Snow White Heavy Arms does all of the lifting here. She easily kills all of the ads. She can nuke the core, and she does a lot of damage, and she doesn't even have the elemental advantage for this fight. The next boss is Blacksmith. Blacksmith is a fire code, which means that water codes will have the elemental advantage towards it. The two key things to know about Blacksmith is that the guns will target the highest attack NIKKE, and the tentacles will target the NIKKE with the highest current health. Whenever the tentacles are latched onto a NIKKE, water code units have to destroy the circle to break them free, otherwise they're going to die. These are the teams that I used. A lot of these fights I did quite a while ago, and I didn't do much testing into optimizing them, which just goes to show you that you can get the max rewards even with some unoptimized team compositions. Next up is Ultra, which is an electric code enemy, which means iron units are going to have the advantage. The key things to remember with Ultra is to always destroy the parts on its left and right side, otherwise you're going to get hit by a barrage of projectiles that you can't destroy, and they're going to do a lot of damage. And on top of that, you just got to remember to take cover when it does its stun attack and its acid spray. The acid spray and the stun can be completely negated with shields, and if you have adequate healing, you can heal through the acid spray. This boss isn't very difficult, but the high score is pretty high, so you might have to optimize your team comps a bit to squeeze out as much damage as possible. Now let's move on to Wing 2. So the first boss we have in Wing 2 is the Doom Train. I will always call it the Doom Train, and now you should as well. Doom Train is a water code, which means electric codes are going to have the advantage. This is a pretty easy fight. Just make sure to destroy all the weapons as soon as they respawn, and make sure you're playing manually so you can take care of the red circles whenever they spawn. Overall, a pretty easy fight. Here's the teams that I use to complete it. Next up, we have Modernia. Modernia is an iron code enemy, which means wind code units will have the advantage. Most important thing to remember about Modernia is that you need to destroy her core, and make sure to take cover when she does her team-wide attack, because it will stun everyone that gets hit, and it's just going to ruin your day. And then lastly, we have the most annoying fight in the entire solo raid museum, Stormbringer. When building your team for Stormbringer, every single team is going to need a very good amount of sustain because there's just so much damage that goes out during this fight. You're also frequently going to have to take cover to avoid team-wide attacks that stun you, and this fight also has some very unforgiving red and white circle patterns. And those are the 6 bosses that are currently available in the Solo Raid Museum. The rewards are incremental, so even if you can't reach that rank 1 threshold to get max rewards, just make sure you go in here and do what you can, because the amount of maintenance kits that you get is quite substantial. In the future, I will make a video about optimal team compositions you can use for each fight, but as you saw with a lot of my teams, they were very unoptimized, and I was still able to reach the threshold for max rewards with plenty of damage to spare. Anyways, guys, I hope this video helped you out. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!